Welcome to another video on Perspectives Are, where we give you a different perspective on the news and events happening today in South Africa. One of my favorite writers or columnists, Max du Preez, wrote an article that made the headlines once again because, as always, Max has an excellent view on things that are taboo, and he takes a middle ground stance that is usually a stance that resonates with people who can think, not right wing, neither is he left wing. So he's going to be hated by both white and black for his views on certain things. But now Max is saying that illegal immigration, there has to be a stop to it. Where is he drawing the line? Let's hear what Max has to say. Well, yeah, he just says that there's a problem currently making the headlines around the world. Started 20, what, 16, 17, 18? Was very large in 2018, where African migrants are going uh, um, uh, into Europe, Middle East, from the Middle East, also South Americans coming into America. These people seek refuge. That's the most important thing because things are not happening in their country, be it famine, be it joblessness, be it a fake economy or a broken economy, excuse me, be it war, be it torment of the citizens of a certain designation. They leave the country seeking refuge, help, shelter, livelihood in another country that does not have what this country is experiencing. Now, South Africa is not different. However, we have come the go-to place, the place of refuge for our brothers and sisters from up north. Usually, when we talk about immigration in South Africa, this word comes up because that happened in 2008 and 2015, where people uh, attacked foreigners who were in their communities and told them to get away. Whether these people were in the country legally didn't matter. People were killed. Somalians and Pakistanis, etc., and Nigerians were killed in these years. And we'll get to the reason why now, because what are they doing in our communities? What are they doing in the poor communities in South Africa? They're coming there to establish a livelihood. So they're not coming to seek refuge. They're coming here to make a livelihood. However, taxes, duties, um, sticking to our laws, all these things being adhered to, being legal, all these things being adhered to, these laws. Uh, let's hear what Max's perspective on this is. He says that two political leaders spoke out on this topic. It's Herman Mashaba and it's Zwelenzima Vavi who was kicked out of the ANC. Mashaba said that we are getting engulfed by illegal immigrants in Johannesburg and Pretoria. That's the truth. We can see it. Vavi has put a photograph of a Muslim men on Twitter last week saying these are let's see what he say. These are new shop owners going for midday prayers on a Friday. Too many things going wrong. How did the goods come this far? I think they bought it here, or did they come with goods? How did they go through borders? Good question. Were duties paid? What tax? Yes. What is the impact to local manufacturing sector? Local informal sector? What has happened to our people owning spaza shops? What has happened to our people owning or running barber shops? What has happened to our people selling goods that people from up north are coming into South Africa and selling? We already have a major unemployment problem. Yet these people come here and create opportunity for themselves. This is the mindset I require our South Africans to change. These people are making money. They're sending it back. They're having a livelihood here in South Africa. Yet our people are not equipped to do that. Is it the government's problem? Maybe partially, but it is the actual person's problem. It's a mindset change that is required. You need to work. You shouldn't go wait for handouts. These people who come from up north are waiting for handouts. Well, at least the ones that are starting businesses. Okay, so Vavi was immediately attacked by this guy, obviously, for that word right there. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? When he speaks of that word right there, he's referring to Muslims. Okay, for that day. That's why Ahmad is talking. If it was any other man, Ahmad would have kept his mouth shut. And here he addresses comrades Zwelenzima. This is one of the saddest moments for our country. No, it's not. It's not xenophobic. The guy is asking questions. That is what we need to start doing in this country. We shouldn't be scared to ask difficult questions. Whether you are white or black or colored or Indian, you should ask a question. Okay? Xenophobia, just like racism, has specific definitions. There's xenophobia and then there's no xenophobia. There's racism and then there's no racism. Anything in the lines of or looking to be too close to the border of xenophobia shouldn't be treated as xenophobia. And the same goes for racism. Xenophobia and insinuating Islamophobia. This has nothing to do with Islamophobia. They're all saying they're going to pray. Is he who reads that and say too many things going wrong, thinking this oh Islamophobic? From a comrade with enormous power, where is your my soul, your anti-fascist international program to build people's solidarity on work, income, ecology, and justice and peace? That's fine. That's fine. We want everyone welcome here in this country legally. Be here legally. And legally requires you to register businesses and to pay taxes. And to not, when we go to the spaza shop in our communities, insist that we pay the 100 rand cash and not swipe with our cards. Okay? The moment there's cash involved, these people are dodging the tax man. But you and I must pay tax. Our brothers and sisters who has businesses locally have to pay tax. Okay, so these guys had a Twitter war, comrades. I can still know xenophobia or worse. Okay, wrong sentence there. Islamophobia when pointing out that 25 years into democracy represented the wiping out of spaza shops historically operated in Omar black African colored Indian owners in their communities, or pointing out the dumping of cheap goods has destroyed the manifest. Vavi is correct. Vavi is absolutely correct. However, this owner's spaza shop, my man, a spaza shop can bring anywhere from 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 rand a month. Easy. It's shocking how much money spaza shops make. Easy. That's why you see the spaza shop is also in danger by from all of these other supermarkets coming into our neighborhoods, but that's more affluent neighborhoods. A spaza shop thrives because it's in a middle class bracket, um, or, or neighborhood to a lower class or poor economic class bracket. That's where they thrive because they have one thing going from them. They're usually cheap or economically cost effective, and usually they are close to houses, whereas a supermarket or a uh, a Checkers or a Shoprite or a Spar are usually centrally located. So you have to come from far to go and buy bread or something like that. Spaza shops for the win. Also, the shops at the spaza shop evolved into the shops at the garages. But I agree with Vavi. Spaza shops in a colored neighborhood is usually there run by colored owners. That's how I grew up. A guy 20 kilometers away from a black neighborhood is not going to have a spaza shop in a colored neighborhood or an Indian neighborhood and vice versa. If a colored has a spaza shop in a black neighborhood and the colored guy must drive in and out 30 k's, there's something wrong there. It means he took an opportunity and he's now establishing himself there in that neighborhood. Yes, we are looking at demographics. Don't look at it racially. Look at demographics. The demographic dictates that 10,000 colored people live in the colored community. How is it possible that Pakistanis and Somalians and Chinese are running all the businesses from alcohol shops to spaza shops to informal trading of small shops selling clothes, selling shoes, selling small things, selling car parts and stuff like that. Pakistanis and Chinese owning bottle stores. What has happened to the 10,000 people who are colored where they are being disenfranchised? No one is coming and saying, I will then make it easier for you to get a liquor license so that you can buy, so you can establish a shop here and maintain the culture of the environment, maintain um, a brotherhood, because you know who buys this and that, you know who needs this and that. Going a little bit off topic, but it's not xenophobic to want to care about your people. It's not xenophobic at all. Xenophobia would have mean all you bloody Muslims get the hell out of the country because you are this and that and Islamophobia, la 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 la. It's not xenophobic. Mashaba was stung by criticism and wrote in an opinion piece in Sowetan, a nasty trend has taken root in our country, in which anyone who dares to speak against certain issues publicly or must. I agree 100%. I believe this is the reason why white people do not want to talk about race. Because the moment you say something, well, anyone for that matter, if the moment you say something anti or not anti-black, the moment you say something that a black person did and you are not black, you're labeled a racist because they like to play that race card nowadays. And black person playing that race card because of racism, you're making a big mistake because you're diminishing from actual racism. Okay? For merely lamenting the state of illegal immigration, that's the word right there. The words illegal immigration. I was labeled xenophobic, Afrophobic. Oh, was that a new word? And illiberal. Inevitably, the merits of the argument then go undebated. Of course, it will, because this is cheap political points. This is what it is. Mashaba says he welcomes migrants from everywhere. Of course, he does. It is time that we recognize there is space and responsible discussion on the subject of illegal immigration. I 100% agree. Stop and close our borders, please. People are coming in by the droves, and they are coming here to get jobs. When they can't get jobs, they need to live. So what are you going to do? What's the next option if you can't get a job but you need to live? You're going to commit crimes. I mean, come on now. This has been proven the world over. Poverty leads to crime and increase in crime in your area, where your areas you have access to. He has a point, says Max. Let's see what Max has to say. I'm getting enough of Vavi and them. I think all public figures, actually all of us, yes, all South Africans, should desist from publicly saying things that could exacerbate xenophobia or prejudice against non-citizens. Exacerbate being the word there. But, obviously there's a but. We cannot kill the debate. It won't go away if we don't talk about it because ordinary citizens do. Exactly. This is the aim of my channel. Please, guys. I'm gonna punt a like and a share and subscribe here. Ordinary citizens like myself have a voice. I chose to create a YouTube channel to talk about it. I don't care if I get a million views. I don't care if I get one view. It means I someone was also thinking like me, and they said, "Oh, look at this video. Let me watch it quickly and hear what this guy's talking about." Whether this guy thinks I talk caca, whether he agrees, it doesn't matter. It sparks debate. It sparks uh, it's a catalyst for people to start recognizing and talking about things that we usually look to News 24 and our politicians to talk about. And that's what I want to change. That's what I hope the channel grows into. The channel should morph into a different perspective. That is the name. Perspective ZA, Perspective South Africa. An ordinary citizen's perspective, not a Zuma, a Ramaphosa, a Helen Zille perspective, and then being regurgitated by a News 24 or a Daily Maverick. Opinion pieces written, but we do not know who's that guy's opinion is driven, because we do not know who's behind that guy or that woman. Whereas me, an ordinary citizen, I sit, I consume, and then I have an opinion about it and I give it. And I think all of us should do it. You don't have to do it on this platform that I chose to do it on. But we need to start talking about it, because we do talk about it. We do talk about race. We talk about xenophobia. We talk about these foreigners that we see are all of a sudden here. I haven't had my hair cut in the last 10 years by a South African because there is none. Not where I go, and I go everywhere. In 3, 4, 5 different provinces, wherever I randomly go cut my hair is a Pakistani. It's not xenophobic. It's a trend I'm noticing. I'm asking. But I'm in a colored area. Where is the colored barber? When I was small, I went to a colored area in Cape Town. We used to talk about colored things that affect the colored community. I can't have that discussion with a Pakistani. He doesn't understand. I digress. My instinct as a human being make me want to scrap man-made borders and welcome all those in need into our midst. That is what's going to happen in future with the new world order, I believe. That's just me. I have very little sympathy or wealth in Western countries such as Britain, France, Germany, or the US who go hysterical about influx of migrants. Well, I agree with Max because these countries they usually invade. So now you must accept this reverse colonialism now. But South Africa is a country with a struggling economy, 100% the problem. Massive poverty and unemployment, and inequality is a real threat to our stability. Sorry, threat. It makes a real difference when between 2 and 5 million immigrants, many of them with low skill levels, compete for jobs, homes, medical care, and schools for their children and citizens of the country. I agree. See, that's why Smart or Max to Preez. Who knows what he's talking about, man? He has a liberal view. How can you call the guy illiberal? He has a liberal view on everyday issues that affect all South Africans. Just because he's a white old guy doesn't mean he only speaks to white old people. No, he speaks to everyone. That's what he speaks to a 2-year-old child who now needs medical care in South Africa. It is also true that much of the violence against foreign nationals in the townships is instigated by local shopkeepers who hate the competition from especially entrepreneurs from Somalia, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Exactly. The migrant owned shops are often much cheaper than the local spice shops and offer a greater range of products because these bastards don't pay tax, because they live in the shops. It's actually very unhygienic. These people live in the shops that they sell things from. Where's our health organizations? Where's this health department going to go ask for business licenses, tax history? Are you meeting the following requirements A, B, C, D? I have a friend who has a business, a Muslim guy, and the these departments come to them and they demand tax papers, they demand business license, etc. And then he points out to the person from the department, but right across me is a shop where a guy from Pakistan is, and he's selling clothes and selling food and all these things from the same shop. How is that healthy? And then again, the department, who, as we know by now, is corrupt. Anything in government currently is corrupt. That's just how it is. Listens to him, looks at his papers, and just walks off. Didn't go to the Pakistani. There is a war on our small businesses, especially South African business. These people are coming in by the droves, raging war on our people. It's a price war. They are outpricing them. We need to add to the debate the fact that there are tens of thousands of immigrants in South Africa who are contributing hugely to our society. 100% agree. Business people, academics, medical doctors, entrepreneurs. I suspect that most, if not all, of them have work permits. That's very important. Where's your permits? And I doubt that many South Africans have a problem with them. If you have a work permit, that means you tick all the boxes. You add to our society. You add your skill to our society. You pay tax. Thank you so much. If you're a foreigner, thank you, and you are most welcome in this country. You add to our economy that daily needs it. But you who are illegally here, doing illegal shit, goodbye, my friend. Please, you need to go back to your country because you are only putting yourself in danger because local shopkeepers they are forced to try other means to ensure that their market is their market. We need to address the problem that of illegal immigrants or migrants before it does start infecting our political culture more. The solution seems obvious. Control the borders properly and document every person coming into the country. Make it easy and free for people to apply for asylum and work permits. I agree 100% with that. Those who are denied these privileges will unfortunately have to go home. Go home and try and get these privileges. Try and find out what are the requirements for these privileges. But this is South Africa 2019. Too many public servants and politicians, 100%, are corrupt, lazy, or incompetent to implement such programs efficiently. That describes the ANC right there. Sorry, ANC. It should not stop us from having public debates about the issue. and informing the public fully of all the facts, complete with giving migrants a voice. Perhaps the faith communities should also get involved. Look here, Max is engaging the or putting the ball in the court of the faith communities. He has I think I know why he does that. He does that because um, the communities who join our country are largely Muslim and largely Christian, and they are very religious. The higher you go up into Africa, very, very religious. Where South Africa has a mixed bag of cultures. So that's actually a good call here. Maybe the imams and the pastors and the prophets who they follow can talk to them and say, if you're here illegally, it's a crime. And if it's a crime, it means it's a sin against your God or something like that. But this year is so true. It is so true. It shouldn't stop just because we expect government to do something about it. Again, this is the reason I started my channel, to give perspective from an ordinary South African, and hopefully it will spark debate. Hopefully it will be a catalyst to start doing something, to start by stop supporting people you suspect of being illegal. Start seeking out South African local spaza shops in your neighborhoods and your communities. Start giving South Africans who you know are South Africans, I mean, look at your ID, giving them jobs, having your haircut at a place that you know is proudly South African. I would even go to argue further, if you say people are xenophobic, which is untrue with no clear facts, can we say that you are anti-South African? When are we becoming patriotic again about our country? I hate that word patriotism, but when are we starting to do a flag love in inverted commas again? This is Perspective Za. Hoping you enjoyed this video. Please like, please share, please subscribe, comment if you disagree or agree. But xenophobia in South Africa is one of the many problems we have. We cannot allow people in. Just take a look at the last 3 to 4 years in and around wherever you go. How many migrants do you see? Every little business you go into in your community is owned by migrants. Look, just take a look today, whatever you're going to do. And even and we are talking about small scale, low end of the economy migrants. You look at the large, high scale migrants. Spas, Pick and Pays, Checkers, and those places in our communities are owned by Spanish people and Greeks. What has gone? What has happened with the South African mindset? Have we not been trained to run our own shit? Have we not been equipped to think farther than being a worker and rather an owner? How is it that people from around the world realize the power of our buying public, our economy, and come and establish themselves in our country? There's nothing wrong with it if you are legal, if you have permits, but this should um, encourage the South African to be that competition. This should also encourage us to start buying South African. We all sit and we complain about China taking over and Greeks taking over and migrants coming in illegally. But what are we doing about it? We are exacerbating. We are promoting this culture. We are throwing fuel to the fire. These people won't come if they realize that now South Africans don't support us. They only support their people. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I've never heard of a South African in Nigeria selling drugs. I've never heard of South Africa in Nigeria or South African in Beijing that owns a liquor store. Have you ever heard of that in your life? I was flabbergasted. I went to 3 different places. 2 were owned by Chinese in colored areas. One was owned by well, he looked white as a white guy, but after hearing about it, I'm hearing this guy is a Greek citizen. probably got dual citizenship. What is going on? In the colored communities, that liquor store, which is wrong, we need to address that, gets a lot of business from the colored people. And the thing that makes me angry the most about foreign nationals is how they treat South Africans, especially blacks. They treat black people like white South African racists and bigots treat black people because they see it there. They treat these people like second class citizens. I remember I was in Sandton City and this guy has a sushi bar, but it's like a portable one. And I walked past and I saw two black men. They had on security attire and they stared bewilderedly in one direction. These guys were profuse, they were angry. And I looked at them and I said, what the hell is going on with these guys? And I looked in the direction that they were looking. And as I turned my head to look and I got closer as I was walking past, I started to hear, but this is a Chinese accent struggling to speak English, but this guy is flipping off at the black guy who's probably twice his age. And I went to the security guards and asked, guess what's happening here? And the Chinese guy could see me. Well, I was well dressed at the time, so he knows now. Oh shit, this is a higher class person. Sorry to use that uh, uh, um, description, but I want to describe here. So they saw me as not working here as a waiter or security or something. They saw me as, okay, this is a professional. Oh, yeah, let me put it like that. This is a profession job wise. And he started speaking softer, and he like showed the guy with his hand. He a signal for him, or he directed him to go away. And he literally said, "Go away." And the man, I've never seen this in my life. The man must have been like 50 something, like a child, walks off. I was, I had a burning desire in me to go tell the guy cock, but I didn't understand the situation. He then packed up his little sushi bar and he closed it and he went inside to a bigger restaurant. They're in Sandton City. And I asked these guys and they said, no, that guy, he didn't do a proper waitressing job or something like that. And this guy went off on him. Well, we can, can we deduce that? That is usually how a bad boss would react. But unfortunately, in this environment, seeing a foreigner talk like that to South African, because we did confirm that he's South African, because the two security guards are South African and they know him, are we looking at it along national lines, nationality? Because that pissed me off. The first thing I thought was, wow, we allow you into this country. We treat you like a citizen of this country. We treat you good like we treat ourselves, our own people. And you would go off on a guy like that. When asked what did he do, no, he didn't listen what he was supposed to do when he delivers the food. It's things like this that make you do oh what is this guy's name? This Topi Yazaki Ahmad um, accused Zwelenzima Vavi of. You start to think xenophobic thoughts. You start to think, but what the hell, guy? It's not your country. You can't come talk like that, yeah? And that's wrong. That's so wrong. Because any boss would probably have done that if you are a cuck boss. It doesn't take from the fact it doesn't take away from the fact you would have done that because you're a shit boss. But now that we see it's a Japanese guy doing it to a black South African, it's a problem. It starts to put ideas in our mind that's xenophobic ideas like I want you to get out of this country. This is difficult. This is difficult. I hope that our leaders and even us, as my man Max Dupree has mentioned, it's up to us. Let us make that changes, and I hope that our leaders can start closing the borders and come up with good reasons to close the borders. We don't need any more good reasons. Herman Mashaba gave you all the reasons. Start talking about it. It's not racist. It's not xenophobic. When someone says you're racist or xenophobic, take out your phone, speak to your Google or your Series and tell them, give me the definition of racism, and you'll see that what you're talking about is not racism. It's addressing an issue. Again, hope you enjoyed. See you next time.